This is Susan Darrow, your host for Border Radio, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoons from 3 to 6 Central. Right this second, you are listening to KPFT Houston, 90.1 FM and kpft.org.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Cynthia and Ed.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, out of the blue, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn or just stay at the stop sign. She wasn't even really sure where she was at. She was very concerned. It was very unsettling for her.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it, to bring the family in on it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Tom Richards. Sorry about all this road noise, but I'm getting ready for another edition of 8-Track Radio, which you can hear Thursday evenings at 10 o'clock here on KPFT. It's music of the 8-track era, 1965 all the way through the 70s. Music that sounds really good, really loud when you're driving really fast. So check it out Thursdays at 10 or on the archives. I gotta go.
Good morning. You're listening to Screen Reflections. This is your host, Michael Bergeron. We've got a great show today. We're going to start off with an interview with Joe Grisaffi. His movie, Lars the Emo Kid, is playing at the River Oaks Theater Monday night. Hello, Joe. How's it going?
It's going great, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. Okay, let's talk about Lars the Emo Kid. Can you tell me a little bit about the production of this film?
I sure can. Let me see. I think I got an echo here.
There might be a slight echo.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Oh, no, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Yeah, Lars the Emo Kid is a film we produced in 2010, starting in 2010. The short history of it is I was working on a short film with Clayton Miller, I believe. And there was a PA named Paxton Gilmore on it. And he just casually told me about a short film he did called Lars the Emo Kid. And he asked me if I would watch it. And a couple days after we wrapped, I watched it. And I said, wow, this is really, really funny. And I called him and said, hey, if you can write a feature-length script with this character and concept, and I like it, I'll stop whatever I'm doing and make your movie. And a few months later, he did. He called me and said, I got a script for you.
So tell me a little bit about the production. Was this shot in Pearland?
It was shot partially in Pearland, Santa Fe, Alvin, a little bit in Houston. We kind of hopped around. Basically, let's tell the folks about the movie. It's about a young guy. It's in high school. He kind of doesn't fit in with any of the cliques, but he finds his own sort of people of like-mindedness to hang out with at a local convenience store. And obviously he's an emo kid, and they're constantly talking. They're coming up with all these names for punk rock groups. What was some of the process there of, did you just have a list of group names and? Well, Paxton in the script listed several band names in the conversations. And on set, we had fun with it. And while we had some real band names, we started making some up. We just said, okay, go make up some band names for fun, and so we kept some of that.
And it's interesting because there is kind of a punk rock ethic to the film, but we hear a lot of classical music in the film, and it really fits in well. Can you talk about how you chose that?
I sure can. That's very important to me to include that. As you probably know, and a lot of the listeners may know, music is expensive. and we had a very, very small budget. So when we did try to secure some of these punk and emo bands songs, we couldn't afford it. And in the script, Paxton referenced like a couple of opera pieces, and I tried to stay true to his writing and secure that. And those pieces were relatively inexpensive. And since we couldn't get the bands and we didn't have any name actors in the movie, I felt classical pieces would give it a familiarity to the audience. People would identify and recognize the music. So that was my thinking behind that.
And using classical music in a film, you still have to pay royalties because obviously it was recorded by people who are alive, even though the music might be a couple hundred years old. But what kind of process do you have to go through for that? You're not only being the director.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're not only the director and producer, now you're the music supervisor.
Right. We've hired a music supervisor named Sean Fernald, and he was very helpful securing some of this. Here's an example. I wanted an autopilot off song called I Know You're Waiting, and we were quoted $7,000 for that. But the classical music was like $100 a pop. Mm-hmm. Because it's a library music, and yes, that the recording artist got the $100, but we didn't have to pay thousands of dollars for it.
Now, you're going to screen the film at the River Oaks Theater Monday night at 7:00, and there will be a Q&A afterwards. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, the film came out a little over 10 years ago. Obviously, a lot of the actors are now must be in their late 20s, early 30s.
Yes, that's correct.
So
we started producing it in 2010. I had some health issues to deal with, but right before we wrapped the movie, but I got better, and we released it in 2015. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yes, some of the actors, and Paxton, I think, is in his early 30s now.
And they will also be at the screening.
Some of them will. Paxton, the star and writer, will be there. David Simpson will be there. And Sarah Gaston will be there. She played the mom. And Alicia Dumovich, who played, her name's escaping me now, but she was one of the emo kids.
And Lars, the Emo Kid is not the only film that you've directed. Can you tell me a little bit about your career as a director, and which goes along also with your career as an actor?
Yes, I started directing films in 1995 with the short film Death and a Salesman, which we did in 95, which I'm still proud of. I still show that at events. And then in 98, I produced and directed a film called Laughing Boy. And shortly after that, it was Dead of Night with a K. And we did Lars. And while one of the reasons Lars got delayed releasing is I did a film called Conjoined in that time, which people thought was made first before Lars, but it was actually after Lars.
And are any of these films available to the general public via streaming or on other sources?
Yes, we hope you come Monday night to River Oaks and see Lars the Emo Kid. But if you can't, it's on Amazon. It's on YouTube, the main YouTube channel, which is really great because they have almost 2 million subscribers. So yes, everything's on Amazon, YouTube, or Tubi.
And once again, we're talking with Joe Grisaffi. His film, Lars the Emo Kid, will be playing at the River Oaks Theater Monday night. Joe, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Bye now.
Thanks.
You're listening to Screen Reflections. This is your host, Michael Bergeron. You're listening on KPFT. That's 90.1 in Houston, 89.5 in Galveston, and 91.9 in Huntsville. We've also got an interview coming up with Vance Howard, the producer of Luv Ya Bum. This is a great documentary. It's about Bum Phillips and the Houston Oilers in the 1970s. But it's also about Houston, and it's you don't have to be a football fan to really like this film. So let's get started with that.
Inspiration for making this film? Well, with Lucky Number 8 Productions, which is my production company, we try to make films that are inspirational, educational, and entertaining all at the same time. And when you look at Bum Phillips and you look at the late 70s, early 80s Houston Oilers, you can't really think of a more exciting team and more of a dynamic and personable and loving coach than Bum Phillips. He just did a great job with some players that in all candor, a lot of them weren't A players. A lot of them were B and C players that he turned into A players. So it's a really remarkable story about a remarkable man, a remarkable team, and it's also a remarkable story about how powerful Houston, Texas is.
That's one of the things that I really love about this film is that you don't have to be a football fan to get into it. It doesn't hurt to live in Houston, but it's such a evocation of what a wonderful city Houston was back in the 1970s.
It was a lot of fun. You had ZZ Top taken off. You had music taken off. You had the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo was doing wonderful. But the town was doing great because at the time in the late 70s, early 80s, oil and gas was doing very well. So the town was on fire. It was really growing, and the Houston Oilers were a team that really lit up the town. It really made it a lot of fun to live there and watch football.
So now the Oilers had been around in the American Football League where they were champions, but I guess the AFC merged with the NFL. When did that happen?
Well, it happened in the early 80s, and they were really not a very good team. They were basically terrible. And Bud Adams came in. He took sort of an unknown defensive coach by the name of Bum Phillips and made him head coach of the Houston Oilers. And Bum Phillips just had this dynamic personality of being able to create not only a great team, but camaraderie and friendship. And he did it in such a way that, as you watch the documentary, he talks about how he didn't think that it was useful to yell at players, that he didn't think that really worked. But communicating with players and treating them like professionals and like professional athletes and men that deserved respect and admiration, that's the way he treated his players. And I think that's the reason that he got the most out of them, was because they loved the team, they loved the city they were in, and they loved their coach.
And the city of Houston really got behind the Houston Oilers. I mean, there was this whole campaign called Luv Ya Blue, which you don't really see that nowadays. But can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, when they had the Luv Ya Blue, and if you'll remember the documentary, Dan Pastorini talks quite a bit about it, how powerful it was that night when it happened. And it was on a Monday night when it happened. And like one of the commentators said, if they would have lost that game that night, maybe Luv Ya Blue would have been as inspirational as taken off the way that it did. But they did win, and it impacted the whole city. And the next thing you know, Luv Ya Blue caught on like fire, and it just ran through the state of Texas like nobody's business. It became an inspiration. And you look around today, Michael, I mean, even today, people have Luv Ya Blue memorabilia in their offices in Houston, Texas, and around the state of Texas.
Right. So the Oilers went to the playoffs twice. What was it, 79 and 80?
And those were great games. And, when they lost to the Steelers, they had that catch that, which really was a catch. And he caught the ball, and they called it out, and that really, it hurt them, but and it cost them the game to some degree. Now, let's give the Steelers their credit. They won the game, but it was such a wonderful time back then when you had really, really great competitive teams that were really rivals, and they didn't like each other, and they wanted to beat each other, not only physically and mentally and on the scoreboard, but they really wanted to attack each other. So that was when football was some really great football.
And it was a controversial call, and the NFL didn't have the instant replay at that time, right?
They did not. And if you look at it now, you go back and look at the tapes, he clearly caught the ball, was clearly in. By the
kind of in a renaissance at that time? I mean, the Texas Commerce Building, for instance, was just being built.
Well, it was dynamic. It was growing. Oil and gas was doing really, really well. So the town was doing economically phenomenal. And so it was just really a town that was on fire. And you were starting to see it have a transition, too, where, it's also starting to semi-break into other industries also, where there's technology and other industries and insurance and such. So Houston was really growing. It was really on an upward trajectory. And I think that was also a part of one reason that the Oilers were so popular and so exciting, because they were also on the same trajectory of winning games and maybe potentially winning the Super Bowl.
And the second year of the playoffs, the Oilers got knocked out, but when the Houston Oilers and Bum Phillips returned to town, the entire Astrodome was full of fans waiting to greet them.
Oh, my gosh. And you see that in the documentary, Michael, because you see how many fans turned out. You know, when we were talking to different people like Wade Phillips and Wes Phillips, did you know that there was just as many people outside the Astrodome as there was inside the Astrodome, and the Astrodome was full because they had already overrun at capacity. They couldn't fill up anymore. They couldn't put any more people inside the Astrodome. That's how many people came out to celebrate a loss. They had actually lost, but the city loved their team so much, they rallied around them. They rallied around the Astrodome. Cars were, circling I-10 and 610 and everything around Houston, beeping and honking and celebrating a loss. But they loved their team that much because their team had that much heart and that much spirit.
And there was such a memorable quote. Bum Phillips said, "1 year ago we knocked on the door. This year we beat on the door. Next year we're going to kick the door in."
Yeah, he used a good adjective in there, or a good verb, I guess, to describe how he was going to kick the door down. But you have to give Bum Phillips credit. The man had a lot of spirit. He had a lot of heart. And, if you'll watch the documentary, he was very, very emotional about that loss because, they gave it everything they had. But if he had gotten one more year, I think that he would have taken them to the Super Bowl and won.
And the film had a brief theatrical release, and it's also going to be available streaming. Can you talk about how people can watch this film, Luv Ya Bum?
Yeah, we did. Thank you for asking that. We had a very nice theatrical release. It was very well received. And then we've got the digital release coming out on November 23rd. And we sort of timed that, in conjunction with Thanksgiving and people wanting to watch football around that time. And I think that the people are going to really feel inspired and uplifted by watching the story of this Houston Oilers team and this dynamic, wonderful coach in Bum Phillips.
And what day will it be available streaming on all platforms?
November 23rd.
Got it. Thank you so much. We've been talking to Vance Howard, the producer of the film Luv Ya Bum.
Thank you.
Okay, stay tuned. We've got some great music coming up. Again, we have been listening to Vance Howard, the producer of the movie Luv Ya Bum. You really want to check this film out. Doesn't matter if you're a football fan or not. It's all about Houston in the 1970s. That was music from The Great Escape, conducted and composed by Elmer Bernstein. And now let's listen to our favorite trio, the Three Stooges.
And now, youngsters, this is Swinging the Alphabet. It's singing the consonants against the vowels A, E, I, O, U. Consonant we start with is B. B-A, bay, B-E-B, B-I, bicky, bye, B-O, bo, bicky, bye, bo, B-U, boo, bicky, bye, bo, boo. C-A, say, C-E-C, C-I, sicky, si, C-O, so, sicky, si, so, C-U, su, sicky, si, so, su. D-A, day, D-E-D, D-I, dicky, die, D-O, do, dicky, die, do, D-U, do, dicky, die, do, do. F-A-F-A, F-E-F-E, F-I, ficky-fi, F-O, fo, ficky-fi, fo, F-U, foo, ficky-fi, fo, foo. H-A, hey, H-E-he, H-I, hicky-hi, H-O-ho, hicky-hi-ho, H-U, hoo, hicky-hi-ho, hoo. K-A-K, K-E-Key, K-I, kicky-kai, K-O-ko, kicky-kai-ko, K-U, koo, kicky-kai-ko, koo. N-A-nay, N-E-nee, N-I, nicky-ni, N-O-no, nicky-ni, no, N-U-nu, nicky-ni, no, nu. R-A-ray, R-E-ree, R-I, ricky-ri, R-O-ro, ricky-ri-ro, R-U-ru, ricky-ri-ro, ru.
The alphabet song from the Three Stooges. Let's listen to music from 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Score composed by Carter Burwell. We're going to track it through.
tore up the tracks again. In the winter of 65, we were hungry, just barely alive. I took the train to Richmond that fell. It was a time I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went na 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 na. Back with my wife in Tennessee, and one day she said to me, Virgil, quick, come see, there goes the Robert E. Lee. Now I don't mind, I'm chopping wood, and I don't care if the money's no good. Just take what you need and leave the rest. But they should never have taken the very best. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went na 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 na. Like my father before me, I'm a working man. And like my brother before me, I took a rebel stand. Well, he was just 18, proud and brave, but a Yankee laid him in his grave. I swear by the blood below my feet, you can't raise a cane back up when it's in the feed. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went na 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 na.
Thank you for listening to Screen Reflections. We'll see you next week on KPFT.
Hey everybody, this is Glenna Bell. Please join me for my show, 3 Chords in the Truth, Saturday mornings at 8 here on KPFT Houston.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking,